So 14 years old, that's when I started training. I wanted to be the strongest. I want to add muscle. I want to get a good physique, look good for the girls, have a body I'm proud of, and be very strong. In fact, the strongest in the world for self-defense. And when I was 19, I was already like the strongest in my school. I was the most jacked. And that still wasn't enough because I looked across the internet before there was social media. There was YouTube, and then there was just world rankings. I wasn't the best in the world. I wanted to be number one. And the body I had at 19, that was already what people trained their whole life to get. And even bodybuilding, they when you are even Mr. Olympia, that's not enough because you're always asking for more. And this 675-pound deadlift, I was 25 years old. And you see my shoulders, you see my arms, you see my leanness. And then you'll see this photo and a few photos and me bench 405. That was the combination of my most jacked, my most lean, my best looking, and my strongest self. And then a little later, I got fatter and then I got injured. And I lost my. I'm not as good looking as I was at 25. I'm almost as strong as when I was 25, but not my strongest. And the looks, it just went down because of injuries and age and stuff. And this is me currently. In fact, this was back in October 2022, and I was 10 pounds heavier here. Notice the amount of fat I had. I still had a lot of muscle. I still looked pretty good, but I could have looked better. I didn't look as good as when I was 25. I was strong, but not my strongest because of injuries. I just had a big bench press because I weighed heavier than I did at 250, so I bench pressed 450, but I looked better at 250 bench pressing 405. And the body dysmorphia, right? I didn't have it. I still think I look good, but I didn't look good as before. And I'll tell you my way of dealing with it. My way of dealing with the fact that I'm not my 25-year-old self. I still lift heavy, but not at my prime. I still look good, but not at my prime. Right now it's just about holding on. It's about hanging on. It's just about doing as much as I can for the rest of my life and still hold on. Even though age hits, especially when you're natural, there's a reason why people go on PEDs and steroids because you hit a limit naturally and then you start to decline. And then you say, okay, I'm not where I used to be, you go on steroids. But there's a reason why I haven't made that jump yet. And if I truly want to go to the next level, I could really devote my time to, and you could see this video. I looked very normal, and this is a photo of me having a pump. And even Taylor Lautner, the Twilight guy, he talked about how when he was in Twilight, he had body dysmorphia. He was the hot guy with the good body in Twilight. Girls liked how he looked, not just his face, but his physique. He said that he had body image issues because this was him in Twilight at the height. That Taylor Lautner couldn't measure up to his peak body, his peak physique. That he's no longer this guy, and it weighed heavily on him. That you know what, he's no longer the guy all the girls were after, and that really gave him lack of confidence nowadays. And even Phil Heath, the second best Mr. Olympia of all time next to Ronnie Coleman, he's comparing himself to when he was at his prime, seeing that he's no longer this champion of a bodybuilder. Even if he's good, he's having body dysmorphia recently because it's life after being a champion. You're no longer that guy that everyone knows you for. Yeah, that Phil Heath is no longer that guy everyone knows him for, being the world champion bodybuilder, his 2011 physique. Or if you check out the Cutler cast by Jay Cutler, another world champion bodybuilder, his mentor, Phil Heath was really most of a fan of his 2012 physique. But anyway, and I already mentioned Taylor Lautner. And as for me, this is a common issue for most people. As for me, yeah, I'm not my 25-year-old self. I don't look how I do at 19. I got over my 19-year-old body fast because I I really was after strength. I hit the strength I want, I hit the physique I wanted, but it wasn't enough because I wasn't number one. And then it took me getting fat to be stronger and hit the 750 for 2 rep deadlift, beltless and jeans that everyone knows me for. But I looked like a hot mess. And then getting injured, getting more fat, and then pandemic, losing the access to the gym, losing a lot of muscle, even though I lost fat. And now it's like injuries just holding up. Both pecs. It looked like you saw the side lateral video in the Lakers jersey. I barely. One shoulder looks pretty normal. The other shoulder barely looks like I even lift because it's missing muscle and it's partially torn. Like you could tell I look natural in that shoulder or I just look like a normal dude. And then the photo after in the Lakers jersey earlier in the video, that's me in a pump and that's my good arm. So lack of symmetry due to the injuries. But yeah, body dysmorphia. I personally don't have it. Even at my state right now, I like how I look. I know I looked better in the past, but I'm just glad I have the opportunity to just lift weights, to better myself in physically, to still be able to bench press 315 for 10 reps, to learn all ways of training. I like learning every way of training. This is really my lifestyle, as I say many times. Like, I go from squatting 4 or 5 for 12 reps one week, 4 or 5 for 10 reps another week, and I could have done 12 that day. And then just the wear and tear, I just did 4 or 5 for 2 reps days ago, and that's because my knees couldn't take it. But that's not permanent because I'm gonna have to probably do hamstring curls to rehabilitate my knees, keep resting, and then I'll get back to squatting the numbers again. That's what you learn with training. That even makes me a better coach. But yeah, body dysmorphia, man. That's how I deal with it basically. That I'm just happy with. I mean, I wouldn't trade my body for the world. I wouldn't trade my strength for the world. It doesn't bother me that I'm not a world record holder. It doesn't bother me that I'm not Mr. Olympia. It doesn't bother me like it somewhat bothered Greg Doucette that I'm not Chris Bumstead. In fact, Chris Bumstead is the guy nowadays people look at for bodybuilding. People want to look like Chris Bumstead. Chris Bumstead is top dog when it comes to body. And Greg Doucette, who also makes good videos on body image, and he lived the lifestyle himself even more than I have. That, yeah, Chris Bumstead just wishing you're someone else. I never had that issue. I mean, I have other issues that I would like to work on, but it's not to do with this video. It's not to do with my bodybuilding or powerlifting. Everything I accomplished in powerlifting, I have accomplished. With physique, I have accomplished. It's just me doing it forever because I want to continue to maintain the good body. I want to continue to maintain good strength. I want to do it until old age. I want to be that guy who, when I have kids, I'll be able to teach them the gym if they choose to do the gym. I want to be healthy and alive for them. I want to look good for whoever my partner will be or whatever partners. And I want to look good for myself even. I like looking good. And I like to be semi healthy, even though I'm not doing this for healthy endeavor primarily. There's nothing healthy about extreme bodybuilding and extreme powerlifting, even naturally, like I'm doing it. It's just that steroids in extreme is even more unhealthy, but you can still do it natural and be unhealthy, but it's more unhealthy when you're on steroids. It's just that you could be some relatively healthy when you're on steroids. The keyword is relative. If you're in a good body composition and not a mass monster and everything else is all right, then you could be relatively healthy. But it's not a steroid video I'm making. But anyway, yeah. So body dysmorphia, that's my way of dealing with it. If you have more questions on body dysmorphia, drop down below. I'll make them into videos. If you like videos like these, tell me more topics I want to cover. It's a real issue. People jump on steroids early because they see their favorite influencers do it, and they see all the big guys in the gym lifting a lot of weight, looking better than them, getting the girls or whatever, so they think that's the answer. They jump on steroids early and realize that they'll still not be happy, and then they're not educated on the amount they have to take. And then, same thing with weightlifting. People see people lift a lot of weight, so they just end up ego lifting and hurting themselves and then not lifting again, or just pretending like they're stronger than they really are. It happens. I've been, even me, I've been there, done that. I mean, sometimes I even still do it, you know? So, yeah. Even though I know I'm not that strong. I'm strong, but I'm not. I'm very strong, but I'm not world record holder. But that's besides the point. But yeah, body dysmorphia. We're all more judged on how we look. We all care more about how we look than days ago. Even the champions is still not enough. Rich Piana himself, his last post before he passed away was, yes, I have body dysmorphia. And then he just passed away. And some of you know who Rich Piana is. Um, I mean, I'm not making this video about him. It's just a common issue. Most people go to the gym to look better, to lose weight, to build muscle to get a beach body and not be scrawny, to be strong to defend themselves. Maybe they were bullied. Maybe they live in a dangerous neighborhood. Maybe they are in an abusive relationship or household. They want to defend themselves, or an abusive friend group or something. We all have our reasons. But anyway, so I think pretty much covered it. This is my take on body dysmorphia. Yeah, no long, and this is not just body dysmorphia, but no life after being in your prime, like Phil Heath, right? He's just, his body dysmorphia is like, all right, he's no longer Mr. Olympia, the body everyone knows him for, the wow factor that he always had, that looking like $1 million. So Phil Heath went from looking like $1 million to looking like $500,000. You don't want to look like $500,000. You want to look like $1 million. And that's how Phil Heath feels. Half of what he used to be. And that's what I am, half of what I used to be. And I don't feel that way, but I feel good, but I know I am half of what I used to be, and that's something I have to accept. And I'm just trying to keeping up with my old self. And I was just learning when to let go. Same thing Ronnie Coleman did. You know, he loves working out, that's his passion, but he doesn't know when to stop. and he's not going to stop because working out is what he's known for. He's known to be the best bodybuilder of all time. Look at him now. He can't walk. And that's the price it took for him to do it, but he just doesn't know when to quit. And he seriously can't walk. He knows he can't do what he's doing anymore, but he's not able. I mean, that's what happens. You get old. You're not gonna reach the top forever, so it's life after the top. And I already mentioned Taylor Lautner because he said he had body dysmorphia. You would think when he was an 18-year-old in Twilight, where all the girls were after him, even girls when I was in college were like, "Oh man, that Taylor Lautner, such a sexy beast." All the girls were like, "You're like, oh my God, he's so hot." That's what the girls were saying. And then you wouldn't know that life after all that glamour and glitz, that, it's like, you know what? I'm no longer this hot Twilight guy that the ladies like. And I feel so overshadowed and let down that that's a lot to maintain. That's what he says. It was a lot for him to maintain, that he no longer wanted to see the gym. That he just, it was just a lot for him to maintain, man. And it gave him body image issues because he was like, I cannot amount to that anymore. So just just we're all struggling this, man. We all have our reasons for doing things, and we're all gonna reach the pinnacle if we're lucky. And a lot of us will continue to do it forever, like Mike O'Hearn. And I have my own opinion about Mike O'Hearn, but whether he's disingenuous or not, which he probably is disingenuous about his use, but we have to give him credit that he's been doing this for a long time. He's been consistent. He's longevity. People like him, Mark Felix, Nick Best, Stan Efferding. I mean, they're all strength athletes and bodybuilders and powerlifters and strongmen, but they've been at the top for a long time. And they've been mountain of men for a long time. And then the most original health guru, what's his name? Jack LaLanne lived to 96, healthiest man in human recorded history, to the extent that he swam the English Channel at 93 years old. And he used to take soy protein, which was heart healthy, and even he did his deadlifts. And he swam the English Channel at 93. He was the healthiest man alive. So, anyway, that's pretty much it. And just a little physique check. See? Alright. Is this the mirror? Trying to look good in clothes, Nothing crazy. And we're out.